Welcome, everybody. It's Brady, and it's Chewing the Fat with Brady Podcast. And today is a special episode because I'm down in the Maricopa. And I don't get down here too often. But the Casanova Brothers said, I got another one for you. I got a great podcast. They introduced me to Big Rob. Rob here is a comedian, and he has been doing a lot of comedy shows at the Harrah's casino originally. We're going to talk about this because this is an educational thing for me, because I didn't realize what the complex that they've built down here at the Harrah's Casino. The Auction Nation has expanded. They've built an UltraStar complex, and this is where it ropes me. This is how the Chewing the Fat with Brady gets in it. They've got a restaurant down here, the 347 Lounge, Grill, and you said 347 Grill. They said, we have food. You need to come down here and check out the food. So I brought a couple of bottles of Brady sauce, because I am promoting Brady sauce a little bit. And I love food, and I love comedy. So we're going to try to hit all of it today. We're going to do some food. We're going to try a little of my hot sauce on a couple of items. And then we're going to talk to DT, who is the man in charge of DT's comedy showroom. What's the proper?
It's the DT Comedy Show.
Okay, the DT Comedy Show. And there's actually a big show this Saturday on the 30th. And Rob is involved. And the headliner is?
We have A.G. White. A.G. White is one of the original comics off of Def Jam, Showtime. He's been doing comedy 25 plus years. And he's originally based out of New York. Nice Jewish boy from New York, Brooklyn, New York. So he's traveling out here. He comes out, once or twice a year, but it'll be his first time here at Maricopa. So we're real excited about having him out here. It's a big name to come out to the Copa, as we'll refer to it from right now.
And Rob, you have a buddy in the business that's done pretty well, Russell Peters.
Yeah, so we have,
and you open up for Russell every now and then on the road, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I've opened up for Russell twice on the road. Russell Peters is unbelievable experience. Right now I'm on tour with Faison Love and Adele Givens. So Faison Love of The Replacements, Blue Crush.
Yep.
Adele Givens is one of the original queens of comedy. So I travel the country for both of them. On and off throughout the year. I've been on tour with both of them for almost 2 years now. And
then construction on the side.
I have an office design company. We do all office furniture and space design for companies.
That's
here.
right. So okay.
Yep. Here in Arizona, we're based out of Arizona, but we Texas, Colorado, California, but we're based out of Arizona. So that's my hobby. Besides comedy.
And that's how you got involved. No, you ran into the Casanova Brothers.
Yeah, being from the East Coast, because that's why, being from the East Coast, one of the things that we do out here is, us from the East Coast, we didn't know what Mexicans were other than Taco Bell, So coming out of the East Coast about 16 years ago, the first thing we come out of here, every time you ask for pizza, they put a burrito on your face, So probably about 10 or so years ago, I had a brother that said, hey, it's exciting. It's almost like you take penicillin for herpes. He's like, hey, I found good pizza. I got these guys. And I'm like, because you meet a guy from New York. You say, you from New York? Yeah, I'm from New York. What part are you from?
Right.
Buffalo. Buffalo's not part of New York.
Yeah. That's,
you know what I mean? Yeah. So you can ask the Buffalo Bills. They'll tell you. But they said, hey, you got to meet these guys. And I walked in. I thought it was Halloween.
Yeah.
You got the guy behind, and he looked like, the typical Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Hey, what?
I got to watch myself.
Yeah, welcome. I'm like, this is a setup. I hope I didn't owe any money on this week's games, because it's like, hey, come in. But I met the Casanova Brothers, and originally their original restaurant was unbelievable. So their food was out of this world, and customer service. So that's how we started.
And their hospitality is unbelievable. That every time you leave Casanova Brothers, you come out like, okay, I think I owe them something, or I'm on the line. I feel like, I'm into these guys.
You know their uncle, right? Their uncle Richard Dawson. Because when you leave, everybody gets a kiss. You feel like it's family feud from the old days.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody goes there, you get
and
a kiss.
And you're videotaped
yeah, and
for
they
some
pat you on
reason.
the ass, and then, break your thumbs, that type of thing.
So, DT, you started out washing dishes here at the casino,
UltraStar
right?
6 years ago, yeah.
give us the rundown of how it all came down. You came from Casa Grande.
Yeah,
and
born,
survived.
bred, tortilla fed out in Casa Grande. Out there, moved to Tucson for a while. I was out there for about 5 years, and then I came out here in 2012. What's that?
It just seems like you were doing up and came back down. You were like, hey, I went to Tucson.
Yeah. I got out of Casa Grande. I made it.
Maricopa.
Yeah, and then I come back down. I came back out here in 2012 when this place opened. I started out here as a dishwasher. Did that for about 6 months, and then overheard one of the managers talking about, hey, we need to bring some kind of entertainment out here. They're like, we need something more than what we're offering. So I let them know that, hey, I've been doing comedy for a few years at that point. Kind of gave me the shrug at first, and the next day I brought him in a DVD of one of my shows, and then after that he was like, what do we need? And so here we are 6 years later running the DT comedy show. Now we're
Much
doing
better
them
route
quarter.
to go. Because the other guy that suggested, hey, let's do cockfights out here. That just didn't go over well in the...
Yeah, no, I mean, we did them for a while out here, but they busted that down in 2010, so we kind of had to move to the legal route out here. So, yeah, no, we've been doing that out here, hooked up with Rob. He was actually here doing restoration on these tables, replacing all our tabletops. He saw the flyer for the comedy show, and, you know what I mean, we had seen each other and been in similar shows throughout the scene, you know what I mean, just both being comedians, but we never actually really hooked up. And then he was like, hey, I'd like to come check out the show. He's like, I'm a comedian, so he came to check out that first show, and then after that, it's history. Ever since then, we've been doing the shows together. He does all my booking, you know what I mean? All that. We've traveled to New York a couple times together and done several other shows together, so it's pretty cool to watch how the show has grown.
Well, so far I will say, when Rob said you got to check this place out, and I drove the mothership down here, the podcast mobile, and it is quite impressive. This complex is, and I get why they're doing it, because you can, now
Everything
people can come down here.
That's right.
And you can bring your family, because now the pool area, which is partially renovated right now, but they're adding, you said water slides. It's going to be a water
river.
park.
Yeah.
You got the movie theaters. You got the...
I mean, this building alone is 170,000 square feet of entertainment. We have 24 theaters, 24 lanes of bowling, 3 restaurants, 2 bars, arcade. I mean, we got everything you literally need. And now we're connected with the bridge to Harrah's Auction Casino, so the parents and grandparents could go next door and drop the kids off here. So,
it's like an ant farm. They can go directly right into that trail.
For everybody, yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's what makes it different. There's no place like this in Arizona. You got like Main Event, you got Dave and Buster's, but this here, it's like when we do our shows, every comedian that bring in from around the country loves it, because they come here for the day. They can watch movies. They come and they can bowl. They can come and eat. So it's always something to do out here.
And Rob, you told me and you had to build it, because they got the new tower's 1,200 rooms, because Bob's Office Barn was not.
No, Motel 3 was not cutting
down here.
Yeah, so like it's don't get misconceived. They call this the 347 because when you're coming from Phoenix, you think that you're going to end up in another state by the time you get to the end, So I used to call this the town from The Walking Dead. Like, I expect everybody to be gone by the time I come back, even though I've been here 10 years, So I'm like, but you come down here, you get through the town, you see one car dealership, 2 laundromats, Dollar Tree, and then you can see this beautiful complex right here with the
Which I'm sad to report that the Office Barn is no longer. It's now, I think, tattoo and hospital scrubs. You can buy it. But at least they kept the building intact.
They got
different color.
Yeah, 5 Circle Ks,
5 Circle Ks.
It's a Circle
literally.
K town,
It's a unique town. You know what I mean? It's tough getting a date here from the valley. You get halfway here, and they're like, all right, where are you really taking me? So,
yeah.
And then if it's somebody from here, they're related. They're cousins, something.
The other thing that I know the casino got in line with is with the golf course out here, which is a really nice golf course.
Correct. That is Troon Golf Course. It's called Southern Dunes,
Southern
and it
Dunes.
is one of
I've played it
Auction's
many
entities.
times.
Yeah. So Auction actually owns. They own Harrah's, they own UltraStar, and they own Southern Dunes.
Yeah.
And Southern Dunes is actually ranked 3rd in the state by Troon as a golf course.
The layout is amazing. It's a challenging course, and it's funny because the biggest thing probably to get people coming out to Maricopa is when you say it's in Maricopa. Oh. But, I came from I guess it would be North Mesa, and we thought it would take an hour. It was under 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Even going down the old 347. The 347 is flowing now pretty good. I made the trip twice because I played Southern Dunes 2 weeks ago.
Okay, nice.
And it was a lot, from my house in Higley, in Elliott, which is in Gilbert, was 25 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, and I live off the 60, so we do the same thing. But we, coming down this way, because people know to come down to 347 if they're cutting to the 8, to go to San Diego or go to Rocky Point. But you're right here. Once you get to this, you're here. It's it's kind of
running
like, wow.
important supplies back from Rocky Point.
Yeah, right. I call it a 3-day-old weed, because usually, now everybody's growing it in their backyard. But before, this was the original,
the route.
You catch
The weed highway.
You catch the weed when it only smelled like a 2-day sweaty guy. Now, because it was closer to Phoenix. So Tucson is 1-day sweaty weed. Maricopa was 2-day, and then Phoenix they get the sweaty third day weed.
We got a Walmart. We're a city now.
Yeah, that's it. Once you have a Walmart here,
Once you got a Walmart, it's official.
You got the traffic built in. They bring it in.
Right.
That's
High
a
class.
good thing. So let's go over the menu a little bit. I went off your recommendation. We ordered a couple of things here at the 347 Grill. We're going to go with the ribeye.
The ribeye, delicious. It's our weekly special right now. We throw that out. We try to throw that out at least once a month because it's so popular with our guests. You know what I mean? It's just, you'll see when it gets here.
Okay, and you mentioned another special that today's not the one, but
Today is not the day.
That's okay, but the enchilada hamburger.
The enchilada hamburger has been a hit.
I call BS.
Like that has been a
No,
hit.
listen, we can't. You guys in this in the Southwest can't start mixing stuff that's not regular.
You're
know
not a
what I
big
mean?
mix guy, Rob?
No,
You
that's
can't
like-
mix Mexican and continental.
Listen, McDonald's tried that with the Big Mac. They try to chop it up and put it in a tortilla. It don't work. You can't put the
Yeah,
enchilada with a burger.
Yeah, but there is a place. There's the shrimp scampi that we're trying right here over some pasta, as Tony would say.
Pasta.
Tony Casanova.
Fettuccine. Is it fettuccine? Is that spaghetti? Tony, what is it?
Fettuccine.
Tony, what
Here
we
you
got,
go.
Tony?
There's a picture.
That's
We'll get the
fettuccine,
bottles
that's
out of the
spaghetti.
way. Southwestern egg rolls for an appy pappy. Some zucchini fries.
Hey, see, I mean,
Look at that. Well, you guys can't see it. We'll try to describe the little pieces of heaven that just came out on the table. I was going to tell you a quick story about the route that we were talking about from Highway 8 or Rocky Point. I ran into a guy. He was a listener of the morning show, and he came in from San Diego, and he was at Porkopolis. And I said, what do you, thanks for coming out. What are you in town? He goes, I wanted to try your place. I came up from San Diego. I'm actually on probation right now. And I'm like, what are you doing here? Well, my PO back in San Diego, he won't, I told him I'm helping out a buddy with a pool business, which he was. And I said, well, what happened? Why do you have a PO? And he says, well, he started running weed, and he had a built-in route. And it all started in Mesa. He was getting his hair cut, and the girl that was cutting his hair really liked him. And she said, my brother would like to talk to you. You're a good guy. And so are you looking for work? My brother has some work. So the work was go down to Rocky Point, pick up the stuff, whatever they have, and bring it back. So he started doing it. They had the route paid off. So he would get $5,000 a delivery. He would do 4 deliveries. It was weed, 4 a week.
$20,000 a week.
$20,000 a week.
$20,000 a
you know
week.
they made a movie about that, right?
Pretty much.
mule.
And so this guy was doing it for 2 years.
Wow.
And he kind of got bored with it. I was fascinated by it because, how does that break down? You think it is a movie.
Yeah,
He
just the
says,
numbers
we
in my
have
head,
a,
I'm like,
they had a car behind his car and one in front that would say, okay, border's okay, go ahead and check in. And the other one was leave it, get in the other car, and head back if things were getting. But it was running. So he got bored with it, he said. And the brother of the sister said, well, if you want to do a bigger load, this was now a 5th-wheeler, and that was $20,000 a delivery. So they're bringing one up. He's like, I just decided, let's go bigger. And when they're going through the checkpoint, it was 3 people, a woman and another guy, and they have Chicago license plates. and they're going through the checkpoint, and everything was fine, and the girl pipes in. The guy says, "Do you have any produce?" "Oh, we have some eggs." "We got to take a look." And that's when he's like, "Oh, no." And they went back there. They found the load.
Isn't that funny that they were more is always concerned about the
He
produce?
has to do time. You're exactly right. And the other guy gets busted. The girl who's in on the deal gets off, doesn't have to do any time. Because what it looked like was a couple of American tourists going down to Rocky Point for the weekend, and they're coming back with their fifth wheeler. And he's like, if I wouldn't have gotten, greedy, I could have done that route. So here's the interesting thing. The casino part. He said he would come up with a delivery. He'd have the cash. He'd go to the casino, throw it in the machines, play a couple of games, get a drink or two, and then get the ticket, cash it out. I just washed the money. There you go, crime folks. That's how you do it.
We
like,
just gave a whole
brilliant.
lesson on
Yeah, because
and everybody's saying now, listen, don't travel with eggs when you got weed.
Yeah. There's the other lesson.
That's the other lesson.
Remember, if you don't have any produce.
No lettuce or no eggs.
So the last piece of food that came out is the ribeye, and that baby looks beautiful. So we'll try some of this. We'll get, or I will for sure. And I've already know what I'm going to try to put a little sauce on. I brought my truffle habanero and the prickly pear ghost.
You see what's so funny?
These are the hot ones that I
see
have.
how funny it is? So you were like a white guy saying habanero, and there's a Mexican, because he's not really Mexican. He's not going to correct you. But if you said fettuccine wrong, the Casanova Brothers would jump right
Slap.
in on
It's
you.
a slap.
Yeah. If you said, oh, that's zucchini with some ricotta cheese,
Yeah.
they'd jump right in. No, it's ricotta.
So make sure, Tony, this scampi has spaghettis, right? Or is that the spaghettis noodle? That's right. My daughter Kirby even knows.
Spaghettis.
So tell me a little bit about Saturday's show. If you're coming down here, down here a little early because you got other things to do.
Yeah, we asked everybody. I mean, the show starts at 9 o'clock, so we're pretty strict on the time.
Doors open at 8.
Doors open at 8, but down here there's so much to do. So we tell people to come down to 347.
Have
come
dinner,
down
get a drink.
6, 7 o'clock. Come down, because you take a nice little trip. You have dinner, you have a drink. Then doors open at 8. It's first come, first serve on the seating. And then you come in and get ready for the show. The DJ's set up, he's playing music. So it's a whole entertainment night. Then, the show is, we put a lot of time into, sometimes it takes us a couple of weeks of going back and forth. Who we're going to put on the show? We're going to put this one on? What happened last show? How do we get people in? And so we put this lineup this Saturday. We have such a mixture. We have one of the hottest female comics. She's out of Phoenix right now, so she's featuring on the show. We actually brought in another gentleman, longtime comic from New York named Barry Ribs. Barry Ribs is here, and then he's also supplementing for AG White. So once we have AG come on, and the great thing about the show is there's no drink minimum. You can have drinks at your seat. It's theater-type seating. And right after the show, we kind of hang out and party at the Lux Lounge. So DT's kind of put this together, so it's a package. You can't go wrong. $10 a ticket, which you can't find anywhere for this quality-type show, for this type of facility.
I call this particular kind of night, it would be an awesome extended date night.
Absolutely.
Because you don't have to go back home.
Definitely.
You get
We got the hotel. Yeah, we got the hotel
And
next
how
door,
are they? I mean, they've
casino.
redone the rooms, and the new
Beautiful.
rooms
They're
are
gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
So
Amazing.
the tower, the 12-story tower is brand new. So that one just opened up 6 months ago. Then the rooms next door, which are closed now, are being renovated right now. Actually, our company is working on that as well. And they're closed. They're a couple of weeks from opening. But those rooms are also just as beautiful as the new towers. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And like you said, they're opening up the pool, which is going to have a lazy boy, a swim
lazy
up bar,
river. Yep.
lazy river, a swim up bar, cabanas. outside. They have a DJ on Sundays type of thing, you know. So they're giving Scottsdale and every place a run for their money.
You'll feel like you're getting away. I mean, it's kind of a little extended.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
It's a staycation in a way, but you're
without the
still
Scottsdale
getting
prices
outside of your community.
And I think for me, and for a lot of people, just over the years, is one of the things that sets this show out apart from every other show is immediately after we go upstairs to the Lux Lounge for the after party, but the comedians also go up there. There's no separation. There's no waiting in line to meet the comedians or having to pay to get your picture taken or anything like that. Like after the show, we all go up and the comedians are up there mingling. They're talking with people. They're taking pictures. They're having a good time. Sometimes the comedians are there. I mean, I had one comedian here. They were there till 2 a.m. You know what I mean? We had to finally take them next door to Harrah's. So that's.
But the
one of things that
following
stands
week,
out.
that might change a little bit. I don't know how much meet and greet the next, but can you? I mean, it's pretty much sold out, right? You
Which
might
one?
be able to, the April 7th.
April 7th, yeah. So
that's for
the
Chappelle.
Harrah's.
Yeah, that's the Harrah show.
Yeah,
So what's
Harrah
happened?
show.
So what's happened now is they built a new banquet room next door, which is bigger than any of the casinos here.
Yeah.
I saw how good we were doing.
Only the new Desert Diamond may have one as big on the west side.
Yeah.
But what they did was put a banquet room here, and they're bringing Caesars is bringing live acts. You know, it's not $10 tickets.
Right.
You know, so you got Dave Chappelle at $400 a ticket.
And
to
he's
come down to
gonna do
Maricopa.
2 shows.
He's doing 2 shows here, and just the fact that he's coming down to Maricopa. You know, we had you know, what they started doing here with the Auction and Harrah's. We were doing. They still do outdoor concerts here. So they were doing free and UFC fighting here. We had Salt and Pepper. I hosted Salt and Pepper here 2 years ago. That was a great show.
No one got pregnant.
No one got pregnant. Well, not
Okay.
at a Salt and Pepper. Salt and Pepper, 15 years ago now. Salt and Pepper they're slowed down a little
They're
bit
more
right
of a
now.
birthing thing. They tell you to push it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's yeah.
But yeah, we you know, things going on here is it's a community feel here too, because I call this the Ock double chin.
Yeah.
Because you've never seen a native with just one chin. And usually they have 2 chins. That's my big native joke here. But no, the Ock chin family here has really taken care of us and allowed us to be creative. They don't stop us. We had one issue a couple years ago with a headliner who was a little bit off cuff, and that won't happen anymore. So we had to kind of, you know.
And
so
Rob,
we
you
get a
told
little
me-
creative. Yeah.
You told me the one story because you have lunch with him every now and then. Chief Bob.
Chief Bob, who couldn't be here today, but
Yeah,
but when
we
we tell
tried to
you,
get him here.
Yeah, he was he actually went to he had a game today, but Chairman Bob is he's probably the most creative looking chief that you would see. You know, I thought chief, I'm looking for a guy with 12 abs, a horse, a headrest, you know. Now meanwhile he has polo jeans, a Izod shirt, you know, he's 140 pounds with quarters in his pocket. But, you know, he's been leading this expansion of the Auction tribe. So he supports us. He comes to most of our shows.
Yeah.
And DT and I, we don't really have holds barred. They let us be creative and do what we have to do here. And then he's not here yet, but they have also the general manager here, Adam, of the Auction, who really allows us to kind of put on these productions and
Keep doing what you're doing.
and bring you down, because we wanted you to get, you know, we know, you know, with your restaurant, you know, as delicious as the food is, the Brady sauce, you know, we wanted to kind of mix that, because you're not that far away from here too.
Yeah.
You know, you're 20 minutes, 15 minutes from the restaurant. So, but we the Casanova Brothers, I know we keep on bringing them up, but we brought them out here. This first time they had been out here 6 months ago, and you know, they were in awe, because, you know, even though they've been in Arizona, people don't really know what the Copa brings.
Yeah, and what Tony was saying, you know what I like about it? There's a lot of spaces, and Mikey's like, there's a lot of dirt naps that can happen out here when things start going the other way.
Yeah, we
There's a lot of desert out there. A
There
lot of
is.
problems are solved in the desert.
Yeah,
Yes.
but you know what? I got to be honest. They're diverse here in Copa, because they even have a Martin Luther King Boulevard here. I don't know where it goes, and I didn't see a lot of black people here, but right up the block is a Martin Luther King
It goes
Drive.
to the churches.
Yeah, so it
The
goes
church
to the
is
church.
chicken.
It goes right to the church. Don't tell me that, really.
It really does.
Oh my God.
past the police department into the back. It's the churches.
Well, you don't have too many directions that you can go, so it's like
You make a left, you're in Texas. You go straight, you're in Mexico. You make a right, you're in
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a little break. I'm going to try some of the food, and then we'll come back and wrap it up because I got a couple other questions for you guys.
Us big guys here. We got to take that.
Yeah,
food
we'll
break.
be right
This
back.
food's smelling good. Let's try it.
All right, we're back after the beautiful feeding here at the 347 Grill in the Copa, Maricopa.
Welcome to the Brady Itis show. This is the Itis. After you eat, we just kind of look at each other with that stupid look,
And about ready for a nap.
That's it. That's
Not a
the
bad
itis.
little podcast idea, is it? When you in food,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
involve
no.
food,
We got to get My Pillow as a sponsor.
Yes.
couple of laughs.
There you go. Right? Yeah.
So we're
Serta
joined.
mattress brought to you by Serta Mattresses.
Just give him another week, he'll have tablecloths. Yeah.
We're joined by the Casanova Brothers, Tony and Mikey, and we went through the food that we ordered up, and they did pretty well. You guys get a Clean Plater Award. We had the ribeye, the Southwestern egg rolls, which I tried, the habanero, the truffle habanero, and the ghost, the prickly pear ghost. Really good combo on there. With the zucchini fries appetizer. They have America's Fat Sauce, as John calls it, the ranch dressing. I put a little truffle habanero in that combo, really good. And the ribeye was cooked pink. That's what you want.
Everybody likes the pink center.
Yes, pink. You can never go wrong with the pink.
Nope.
And then finally, I see you guys. You can laugh. That's all right. Yeah. Tony, get your mind out of the gutter.
It's DT, man.
That's where the pink is at, is in the gutter.
His glasses started fogging up on me.
Hey, I wouldn't know pink. Me and my wife been together 27 years.
Oh, yeah. Gray, then gray for you is...
That's well done.
We used to call it, it went gray, and then the really old, we call it purple bread.
Yeah.
Somehow we came up with that, and that was the code for a while. But anyway, so we'll get this question out of the way. Rob, I'll start with you. You're on death row. What is your final meal?
On death row, my final meal is probably going to be, because I'm a East Coast Mexican, Puerto Rican. We do a plate. It's a roast pork. It's called pernil.
Uh-huh.
It's Pernil that Puerto Ricans eat, and
What goes in the...
pernil.
Pen-
It's what they do is they
Pernil?
make pernil. Yeah, Pernil. I don't have that. I can't roll my R's or say my L's.
Does it come
I grew up with like the Tony type of, I grew up with Italians in New York, so
Yeah.
they're a little different. But anyway, in there, what they do is they actually put what makes it different from everything else. They put a seasoning in it called sofrito. Sofrito is ground up spices that what they do is they make holes in the pork. They stuff the pork with these spices and then they roast it. So that's what gives it the different flavor.
Yeah.
In like I said, in the Hispanic, Puerto Rican, meal. So that would be that'd probably be my last meal on death row.
What about dessert? Would you in the...
Dessert, I'd probably like to, I'm getting older now. I can't always do dessert. So like I tell people, I don't watch porno no more. A good yoga film.
His
You
hard
ever
candy.
see a chick watching
and
yoga?
his hard candy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's safer. Doesn't get me so excited. So I'd watch some yoga afterward. Yeah, I couldn't eat
Anything to
anything, no
drink?
dessert. Anything to drink? Kool-Aid, grape Kool-Aid.
Go with
I'm
purple.
married.
All right.
I'm married to a black lady, so we do grape Kool-Aid. So yeah, I do. I'm a Kool-Aid kid. Me, DT talk about that because
Grape Kool-Aid all the time.
grape Kool-Aid all day, man. That's they're selling it at Quick Trip now. I found it in a bottle. Grape
Really?
Kool-Aid in a bottle.
Welch's?
Nice.
No, grape Kool-Aid, real Kool-Aid.
We serve the red at Porkopolis. Right
Oh
now.
yeah, you
In
got the
bubbler,
red?
In the
Nice,
bubbler.
nice.
Yeah. No.
it's
You
nice.
can't go wrong with. So I do a grape
Yeah.
Kool-Aid with that, and
I might change it up and go purple in the summer.
that,
but
I mean, I'd be there for the red anyway. I mean, the food there is delicious. I was there a couple of weeks.
Nice.
But if you do the grape Kool-Aid, you might see us a little bit there. A little.
there 4 or
We might
5
get there
times.
come 4 or 5 times. Yeah.
12 of his kids, too.
Yeah.
What was it, 6?
All right, DT, your final meal.
Net Garcia, Mexican weather girl.
Okay. That's funny you say that because
that's what I would ask for my final meal.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not joking.
That's what we were at the WWE Royal Rumble, and they bring down the press junket, all the wrestlers, and I believe it wasn't Dusty Rhodes, it was another old schooler, and he says, "My final meal, I'd like some pussy."
Have you seen
we had to
Annette
dump
Garcia?
that on the radio, of course.
Have you guys
and
seen
it
her?
was,
Do you know Annette
Yeah.
Garcia? Have you seen her?
No,
Man.
I'll Google her when I get back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. See, look
Hey,
at
but
this
you know
dude's
what?
already.
There you go. There she is.
Yeah.
But you see,
Oh yeah, I've seen her.
Yeah.
listen, but that's any Hispanic weather girl. That's
Yeah,
on,
they're
that's
pretty
on
solid all the
Telemundo
way
or whatever.
around.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, though, I'm a plain Jane. I'm a steak and potatoes type guy. Like mashed potato, any kind of like a steak with mashed potatoes, or
Yeah.
like some chicken with mashed potatoes and gravy, macaroni, something like that. Whatever I have is definitely gonna have mashed mac with it.
Particular cut? Are you a ribeye guy, filet, porterhouse?
I like porterhouse, man. I'm a porterhouse
You
guy.
get a combo of both. You
Yeah,
get your filet and your New York in
Yeah,
there.
you know what I
Hold on,
mean?
the Mexican contingent is on the phone. They're pulling your Mexican card.
Yeah. What
I
happened
eat
to
Mexican
you?
food every day. Why am I gonna have that for my last meal? That's my first meal, my second meal, my third meal.
Yeah.
Like, why do I want that as my last?
Because you
And
didn't get it too often growing up, probably.
And then dessert would be fried ice cream, man. Fried ice cream
Oh.
is the business. Like, no matter where
Nice.
you go, fried ice cream.
To drink?
Iced tea. Straight up Southern iced tea with 2 cups of sugar per gallon. I mean, that's the only way to go.
All right, Tony, since you're here, you get to answer the question. Final meal. There you go.
Final meal.
You're on death
I'm
row.
death row.
You got caught with 8 heads in a duffel bag.
Wow. Well, I have to keep have to keep it traditional, man. Like when I was going to school and I snuck out every day to get a slice of pizza, bro. It's like
Where
good.
was it? What was the name of the place?
Anthony's,
Anthony's.
Yeah.
And where's it located?
Mount Vernon.
Still open?
Now it's Tony's.
I think they got closed down for running numbers.
Oh,
Yeah.
that could be.
Yeah, possible. But no, that's traditional.
Yeah.
Cheese slice, I'm good, bro. And,
Yep.
And for dessert, got to go with the cannoli. Come on.
Come on.
Come on. Got to go with the cannoli.
Gotcha.
Because you're on death row, so you'll get diabetes 4.
That's right.
After
Exactly.
eating an
What are you
Italian
worried
cannoli.
about,
Now
right?
going to an
You're getting-
insulin.
You're getting
coma.
charged.
Yeah.
All
You
right,
can feel your-
Mikey.
Mikey, right here, Mikey.
In the middle of
My Mikey's.
Me, obviously, from the look of me, you can tell I like lasagna, right?
lasagna,
That's my favorite. There was a place I used to go to called the Wedge Inn.
the Wedge
The
Inn.
Wedge Inn. It was in the Bronx on, I'm trying to think of the name of the street. Well, where was Peter's store, Tony? So what was that main road? Boston Post Road, Mount Vernon, Bronx border. I think they're out of business now. They were there for ages.
Wow.
Me and my buddies would go there after going out to the clubs at night because they were open late, 24 hours. We would go there for lasagna late at night. I would get 2 or 3
What was it about the
portions.
lasagna?
It reminded me of my grandmother's and my mother's sauce.
Gravy. Your mom's
The
gravy.
gravy, right. You could tell the noodles were fresh because they boiled them. They didn't buy anything. Back then, nothing was frozen. But it was phenomenal. The meat they put it into, they used the palio ricotta, ricotta cheese, as known to everyone else. We call it ricotta. Incredible. Incredible. And I would have 2, 3 portions of that. I would go home happy with that.
What's the proper way to say that cheese?
Rigot.
Italians go, give me. Actually, sometimes people just say rigot.
Go, you don't say that.
But it's arigot. My grandfather say, Mike, give me an arigot. Wait.
So when you go back to visit family, say I would head back with you for a weekend, where would we go to eat?
Now, in
Yeah.
today's day and age, I would probably go to City Island. City Island is like a 1 mile strip,
So that-
right
that's-
off the Long Island. You've been there, right?
When
You
I-
want
when I-
you want the
when I go
best
back to
seafood
New York,
around? City Island's got all the restaurants. It's one block in, one lane in, 1 lane out.
The best. That's probably best seafood. The Reef.
Johnny's Reef.
Johnny's Reef.
And his
Johnny's
harbor.
Reef?
And his harbor.
Listen, when I go to New York, and New York is a short trip. If I'm performing, I don't even stay long because New York is. I'm afraid. I became a punk. You know, I grew up in New York all my life. Came out here with horses and cactuses. I go back to New York like I never lived there. But you go to City Island. We go downtown to Little Italy. Like if I could stop in, like I took DT on a tour We went to doing a big show.
Are they
in New York.
standing outside of the door saying, "Hey, come on in for dinner"? Is that kind of because it was that way a little bit in? I mean, when you go to Italy, on all the restaurants on that, and I noticed the same thing when I was in Boston one time. Right around dinner time, guys are sitting out saying, "Hey, come on in. Here's what we got. You got to try this."
Yeah, and you got the waiters that have been working there forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same thing when you go to Casanova Brothers. You know, you go there and like that's what makes it different. I'm trying to see if.
You mentioned Luger's. You were talking about a steak sauce, but you're saying in the day when you'd go to Luger's, it's cash only.
Cash only.
Or you could have a Luger's dining card, where they.
Which was like a fake dining card. It's like they knew you because you couldn't swipe it anywhere. There's not even a swipe on it. You would just show the card that had your name on it.
You should get Monopoly money.
Yeah, so you know you had to pay cash, and to this day it's still you can only pay cash at Peter Luger's. They still don't take. They still don't take credit cards or anything. So you have to go there with cash, and but it's you know sawdust on the floor at the one in Brooklyn. It's old style. That's where
That absorbs all the blood.
Where did we get that breakfast sandwich at when we were in New York? That deli you took me to.
Deli. That's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show. Is breakfast sandwiches. See, we're stuck with burritos out here, and everything's wrapped. I don't know why Mexicans don't want to see their food. Everything is wrapped. Tortilla wrapped.
Hidden.
Enchilada, chimichanga. It's the same stuff, but you can't see it.
Because you
don't
lived
need
with
a
the
fork.
dog for 10 years. Why do you want to see yourself
No, but you
eating
got to
it?
wrap everything.
They
Still,
wrap
what
it
is
in
it?
the
Ground beef,
burritos.
guacamole, salsa, and cheese. What's the other one?
Rice and beans, bro.
Chunky meat, rice, guacamole, salsa, and cheese.
Pork
And everything
carnitas.
Yeah.
There you go.
You can't see any of that food. So
Is that the only Mexican food you can name?
What?
Would you just name?
Chunky meat.
Was it something? It's
This
meat.
guy, he came off, he's like carnitas. He's cool.
That's because he's been here 20.
Carne asada.
Yeah, he's all like.
Listen, then you guys are upset when there's an E. coli breakout.
Well,
You know
since
what
you
I mean?
mentioned it, I got to know now. Tell me about the breakfast sandwich at this place.
So I'm waiting for these guys. They'll open up a place. In New York, the difference is
It's just
the
breakfast.
bread.
It's a deli.
It's a deli. So you
What's
gotta
it called?
Jim's Deli. It's
Okay.
over in Uniondale, New York. They're right down the block from Hofstra University, and that place does nothing but sandwiches. Unbelievable volume, and it's like getting a roll. Bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll. That's
Yeah.
what you get in New York. And on a Harrah. Or here, I'm sorry, Arizona. It's a sub. You know what I mean? But we call it a hero.
Hoagie sub, grinder.
Yeah. Like the first time I went into I know when it's bag pizza here. I walk in, let me get a pie. Sorry, we don't do pies, we do pizza here. Oh, yeah, you don't call it a pizza
sorry.
pie.
Yeah.
They don't recognize that. But yeah, a breakfast sandwich, you can't, on a bagel, you get anything, bacon, egg, and cheese, ham, egg, and cheese, but the bread.
But it's the bread that makes it.
It's just
Yeah,
right
I don't
on
know
the
what it
roll.
was, but man, it was something about it. You know what I mean? That same trip, the most unique thing I've ever tried, though, food-wise, no matter where I've gone, was in New York with this guy. We were in downtown, I don't remember what it was, but we were walking down the street, and he just stops at this little window. I'm telling you, the window is probably about this big, and it goes down probably 30 feet, and there's just a bunch of people in there. Everybody's got a little station. There was one window, and he ordered something that was like corn matzah, and it had like meat on the inside.
It was a stuffed potato. Stuffed. What they did
Bananas.
is they take.
I don't know what it was, but man,
They take potato. They
Yeah.
make it. They smush it out. It's smushed out. They put ground beef in the middle. They make a roll and then they deep fry it.
Wow.
So
One of
and
the
then
best things I've ever had
Is
anywhere.
that Puerto Rican? What is that?
That's Puerto Rico.
And then
Okay.
so that's
That's
what threw me
what's
off.
the name of that?
That's what threw me
called
off.
Papa de Harrah. So, yeah.
I ordered it
In
from
a
a
night.
black
It comes
guy.
in with a cross. You get a cross and a Puerto Rican flag in your bag.
That's what threw
And
me
napkins.
off. I was trying to talk to this black guy,
Yeah.
right? And he wouldn't understand what I'm saying because he only spoke Spanish. I'm standing there talking to this black guy for a minute, asking him questions, and then finally Rob comes up and starts talking to him in Spanish, and then he responds.
He's talking to him for 2 minutes, and the guy's just shaking his head but doesn't understand what he's
Yeah,
saying.
You're like, what up, soul man?
Yeah.
I
Hey.
want to talk to you.
Hey, I'm like, yo, what's up,
brother?
I'm like, hey, how much for this hat over here? And he's like, just looking at me, and I'm like, all right, this is a New York thing.
It's
and
the
then-
same thing with Italian. Like the only way their food is good because they've taught it, but in New York it goes by how old is the grandmother that's in the back making the sauce. That means that's as good. So at this place, it's like it looks like everybody's aunt was working there.
Yeah.
And they're frying this. Old
That's when you
school
know it's
style,
legit.
And you know it's legit. Like like good Chinese food.
Yeah.
But how thick the bulletproof glass is in Manhattan, that type of thing.
And usually there's usually a curtain that covers the kitchen in the Chinese restaurant. Right. Which is like the Wizard of Oz. Never look behind the curtain. Don't see behind the curtain. You don't want to see the wizard.
You don't want to see those cats.
Yeah, you don't want to hear the squealing in the back. Yeah,
cats in the cage.
Yeah, like they use grade E chicken. Like the chicken is like an amputee. It's a rooster.
You never
amputee.
knew that existed.
Old cockfight chickens are in the back. You get two thumbs. It's like this.
Before they go to the $5
Really?
Half
box.
a wing. It's good chicken.
Handy chickens. Never knew. That's grade E.
That's,
all right.
All the chickens and roosters from the cockfighting ring here.
I'm going to New York to do my first weekend at Caroline's on Broadway. Caroline's on Broadway is top 5 in the country. So I got a weekend to do their opening for a Hispanic comic in New York. So I said, hey, I've been doing comedy in Arizona 2 years. I'm ready. I'm going back to New York. I go to New York, and I had another comedian who had kind of discovered me back in the day, said, hey, come do us comedians, like a little bit about Action. I consider this my room. Every comedian at home has a room that they do. So This is how we get the comedians to come do DT show. They know this is Rob's room. Rob helps book the room. So in New York, the guy says, hey, come do my room. It's in Queens. It's on Merrick Boulevard. Now, if people that are from New York know, Merrick Boulevard is a little hardcore. That's where Run DMZ, LL Cool J, they all grew up in that area. But anyway, I get to the place. It's a little hole in the wall. And it's in between like a king chicken and a Chinese chicken place. And I'm like, now I act like I never grew up in New York. And I walk into this place. It smells like both food. I get on stage, and it's a hardcore New York crowd, and I'm like, I get up on stage, and I get up like I've been doing comedy in Arizona, and like my first joke was like, hey, black girls don't give blowjobs. So now I'm the first comic up, and you just hear, and they're eating chicken wings, and it's like these heavy-set black chicks. I was like, we don't know what you're talking about, Pedro, but we... and I was like, oh, that might have been the wrong joke at this time,
Fighting words.
Yeah, so I lasted about 4 or 5 minutes. Probably the last time I bombed, because I needed to get the hell out of there quick. Because they introduced me like Rob from Arizona. So the minute they said that, that's like...
Your
that
label.
was bad. That was done. If it would have been Rob from Brooklyn, Rob from the Bronx, Rob from Arizona, and it was like... So I just packed up. I had like little props and everything. I packed up my stuff, went next door. That had to be the best chicken I ever ate, because I went to King's Chicken. And that was the name of it, King's Chicken. Not Kentucky Fried Chicken.
King's.
This place. And again, you couldn't see how they were making it in the back. And it came out with it was like a little orangey, but it was good chicken, But I always attribute bad comedy to good chicken.
Imagine that show. All right, let's give it up again for Rob from Arizona. Next up, DT from Casa Grande.
We give you guys 5 minutes to put your bulletproof vests on.
No, we were, and then I took DT to uptown to Washington Heights. So we're walking. There's a live no lie. There's a live concert going on in the middle of the day, right there in the middle of a block, a salsa concert. Then we're walking by the old guys in the park playing dominoes. So I'm showing DT this type of
Getting
culture.
cultured.
Yeah, it was cool.
I love it.
That's the culture that, and that's why he traveled with me, because I wanted him to see, besides
Way better than tourist sites.
Oh,
Way
yeah.
better. Like dudes
It's
playing dominoes.
so true.
Legit. Yeah, it's
And I grew up there, but so I took him around, and that's how our friendship built, and it helps with the chemistry of what we do here. Because he him being a little younger than me, and then my problem here, I love Arizona, but people that have never been to some place like New York or Chicago could never understand culture. Like here, you guys have a Southwestern culture. I joke about the peppers and the enchiladas and that, but you go to New York, that's why I got into comedy. I got into comedy because I thought it was so intriguing that I came here and it was just white and Mexican. That's it. It was, and I'm like, you guys would never survive in New York where you got El Salvadorian, you got Jamaican, Caribbean, and white.
It's an international mix.
And here, everybody would say, hey, I'm white. In New York, you don't say you're white.
Yeah.
I'm Italian. I'm German. I'm Polish. I'm Irish. You know, they don't associate it that way. They take their culture to the next level.
Yeah.
Here, I'm Chandlerin. You know, I'm from Chandler.
Arcadian.
I'm Arcadian.
Maricopian.
Yeah. So the New York link is even out here, because DT pointed out that the Achin tribe actually grows the chili peppers, right?
Yeah.
For pace,
For pace, yeah.
which is New York salsa. New York City.
New York City.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And then they grow a lot of potatoes for
They do the potatoes for
Frito-Lay.
Frito-Lay, yeah.
Frito-Lay.
Frito-Lay, yeah.
That's
And
amazing.
nobody ever thought about that out here, like how much agriculture is in Arizona.
Right.
You know, and like I said, I'm here 16 years. I'm driving with the wife, and like I told you, my wife is black, and we're driving, and you know, we live in Gilbert. I'm driving along Germain, even though to me it's German, but two ends mean Germain in
Right,
Arizona.
I'm with you.
And my wife's like, "Oh my gosh, look right there on the side of the road. What's that they're growing?" I smile because I know what it is. I pull over right away, get out. She goes, "Oh, honey, what's that?" I'm like, "That's cotton. That's to keep you guys in line. You'll start messing up in Arizona. You'll start picking them cottons. The Mexicans get tired real quick." And she got really, like, it struck. She had never seen, because most black people, even though that's the term.
Heard about
slavery,
it.
picking
Yeah.
cotton. They've never seen cotton.
Yeah.
So it's happened with
wild.
AG. A lot of comics I've brought back from East Coast, no one's ever seen cotton actually being grown.
Yeah.
And they know that it's, a staple that, of course, clothes.
Part of the 5 C's in Arizona.
That's right. And I said, the agriculture here, that's what I love about Arizona. You learn about that. Like, where else can you drive home? People are like, "Oh, I'm so stressed." While I drive home, I see the cow farm, some llamas, growing
Ostrich
cotton.
every now and then.
Ostrich every now and then. And then, a couple of guys with no teeth, some rednecks. You see, that's if you go through Apache Junction. But, when you're going around, you get, then you end up in Gilbert, and then you go to the Casanova restaurant. Now, these guys, I swear, and I'm sorry to give this up, guys, because it's not allowed by law, but these guys are in the witness protection program, because they're out of. How did they get here?
They were in a video business before this.
Furniture.
They told me the
video.
story.
Yeah, they
They're multifaceted.
My blue heaven.
Renaissance
right
men.
It's all lies. All lies.
It's all lies.
Well, DT, Rob, thanks for having me out here. This was, again, I don't get out to the Copa much, and this was a pleasant surprise and quite a complex. So if you guys get to check it out, give out some details, where to check out the...
So we're located in Maricopa, Arizona. We're at 16,000 North Maricopa Road in Maricopa, Arizona.
Website.
UltraStar AZ. You can look us up. Anything you need, we're located right next door to the Harrah's Auction Casino, so look us up online.
All right.
DT Comedy Show this Saturday, 9 p.m., live inside of Theater 1.
Big Rob, Insta, anything?
Yeah, Insta, it's at Big Rob AZ on Instagram, Robert Rodriguez on the Facebook, because I'm on probation. But they, and then my company, like I said, which is a big supporter of what we do, is you go to totalaz.com. You learn about what we do as a business as far as furniture, and we're just getting into home furnishings now. We sell used and new office furniture and home furniture. So go to totalaz.com, and like I said, just come out. You guys want to laugh? There's nothing like coming out to a Saturday night to the Copa. I'll buy your ticket if you don't laugh that night.
There you go. There you hear it. Well,
live
thanks
at
again.
UltraStar Multi-Tainment Center, Harrah's, next to Harrah's Auction Circle.
Harrah's, the Ock Double Chin out here. Let's call it what it is. Thank you, Brady. We appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
You got
so
it,
much for
guys.
coming.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time on Chewing the Fat with Brady podcast.